my fellow Slivers across the multiverse, welcome back to your one and only trustworthy Hive. If you only play Magic for the lols and giggles, that's beyond excellent. It's one of the parts of the game I myself enjoy the most. Building funny-ass decks, playing big dumb creatures and spells, coming up with the jankiest combos. So don't ever let anyone tell you that if you play Magic the Gathering like that, you're playing it wrong. It's a game. If it makes you happy, if you have fun, that's all that matters. Having said that, this video is more about the competitive aspect of Magic. Winning tournaments, playing as best as you can, understanding the game on a much deeper level. Successful people who have mastered their craft, tend to be people of habits. And within the context of our favorite card game, things are no different. So here are what I have found out to be the top habits of great Magic the Gathering players. Let us begin. I met a player once who said playtesting was a waste of time and even unnecessary. The guy was a nice person overall, but as you can probably imagine, not once did I ever saw him win a tournament. Not even small FNMs. Here's a confession for you all. Uncle Sliver here is a personal trainer. So how do you get to a point where your working set for a deadlift consists of 300 pounds for 5 or 6 reps? Well, you have to stick to a quality program and practice the movement over and over again, perfecting your technique every single time. And it's kinda the same in Magic the Gathering. Not a single high-level pro player has gotten to where they are without playtesting a lot and with a purpose. In the words of Melissa de Tora, playtesting is a necessary evil for every competitive Magic player. You want to qualify for the Pro Tour, win the local 5K, or maybe just become a better Magic player. And playtesting is one of the ways to reach that goal. But playtesting for the sake of playtesting will not be enough. As I mentioned earlier in my analogy involving lifting weights, your playtesting should be in and of itself a quality program. A program that has a core foundation, clear rules and guidelines, and an end goal. Reed Duke explains it quite nicely in his MTG Pro Tutor interview. I've always been a fan of quality over quantity when it comes to practicing Magic. In my perfect world, when I'm playing on Magic Online, I am not multi-queuing. I'm not listening to music. I'm not having other people in the room talking to me. When you put the greatest amount of focus into a game of Magic, that's when you learn the most. So remember kids, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. This is something I think most Magic players already do. We often spend hours watching our favorite players, play Magic. Whether it is on Magic Online, Magic Arena, or even better, watching video coverage of big tournaments, nowadays is extremely easy to pick the brains of the best pros out there. But do we? Sometimes we just hit play on the latest Luis Scott Vargas Legacy or Vintage video, and we kinda just leave it there while we check our cell phones, eat dinner, or whatever. If you want to improve your skills, you have to really study and absorb what these players have to say when they stream or upload their games. You are going to get a lot of insight and it will help you understand why and how the pros play the way they do. So you can start incorporating this knowledge to your own skills and experience. But is studying the pros online the only way to learn from better players? Absolutely not. So let's talk about teams. Most MTG Pro players belong to a team for a reason. Being part of a team will make the experience of playtesting much easier, structured, and efficient. It's also easier to build all the best decks with a team than by yourself. It will be faster to gather information with the help of other people. Being in a team exposes you to new points of view and fresh perspectives. If the members of your team are far more experienced at the game than you are, you will learn a lot from them. And if you are the most experienced player, you can always learn new and different things from different people. My team, the Pantheon, and especially William Jensen and Owen Turtenwolf helped me become the player that I am today. Having a team is critical to improving. Find the best players you can, but make sure you get along with them personally because you'll be spending a lot of time with them. There is a reason why the game is still called Magic the Gathering and not Modern the Gathering or Standard the Gathering. If you want to be the best Pioneer player out there, then yes, it makes sense that you commit to Pioneer. Play Pioneer exclusively, only watch Pioneer videos and read Pioneer articles, etc. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that goal, and if that's what you want to do and it makes you happy, go for it. Pioneer into the sunset. However, don't be surprised if that's still not enough, because while you might be much more knowledgeable and experienced in the format than almost everyone else, you will have the disadvantage of being less knowledgeable and experienced at Magic in general. A good example of this is playing Draft or Seal. I've met a lot of players who, the moment you take their Tier 1 Standard or Modern deck out of their hands and place them at a Draft or Sealed event, it's as if they don't know how to play Magic the Gathering at all. And that's because they lack the set of skills that comes from experiencing the game through that particular lens. Even casual formats such as Commander can teach you new skills and tricks that you can apply to Magic as a whole. Pauper is another great example. Playing without game-warping planeswalkers and other powerful mythic or rare or even uncommon cards will make you see things differently, and it will help you approach the game from more diverse angles. The best players are great in general because they are excellent at playing almost any format. You could say they know how to play Magic and not just Standard or Modern or any random format. I know, money can be an issue to accomplish something like this. After all, having a decent deck in just one format is already tough enough for a lot of us. So imagine having to build a bunch of decent decks for a bunch of different formats. Well, the best advice I can give you in this regard is to try and do the thing I did, since I'm not rich or sponsored or anything remotely close to any of those things. So here's what you need to do. You choose a format you like, you choose a nice competitive deck that you can build within your means, you play that deck a lot, you really learn it, you start winning with it, and then you use your prize money or store credit or whatever to build other decks from other formats. Rinse and repeat. Hey, I didn't say it was the ultimate secret formula, but if you stick to it, I promise it will work. Just like professional weightlifters or powerlifters track their progress and their calories and their workouts, many great MTG players tend to track their matches, their playing, their results, etc. The first time I heard about this, I was a bit skeptical, but I decided to give it a shot since it made sense and it is a common practice for self-improvement at other activities outside the world of Magic. And you know what? It worked. I started tracking everything I could. What decks did I play against at what tournament? How did my own deck fare against them? How did my sideboard choices turn out? Why do I think I won or lost a certain match? What were the difficult matchups and why? What cards proved to be better than I anticipated and what cards proved to be a lot worse than I thought? Doing all of these things made me a better player. It made me prepare better for tournaments. It made me better at choosing my main deck, my sideboard, my opening hands, my lines of play, and everything in between. However, when you're analyzing all of these things, you have to make an effort to be honest and objective. And that takes us to the next winning habit of great MTG players. Let's say you already do everything else on this list. You put in quality hours of playtesting. You carefully study the greatest players out there. You have managed to pick up different sets of skills from playing multiple MTG formats. And now, you maybe even track everything that can be tracked about your games and tournaments and what have you. However, if you always say stuff like,
I lost because my opponent got lucky, or I lost because I need new sleeves,
then there are a few possible options. Maybe you always play against the luckiest people in the world, or you are the unluckiest person in the world, or you are simply not being honest with yourself. Here is something I constantly tell my clients at the gym. Be sure to leave your ego at the door every single time. Not surprisingly, that applies to Magic the Gathering too. We all like to constantly pretend that we are already masters at the game. That we only lose because of bad luck or because we got mana screwed or mana flooded.
Bruh. My opponent was probably having the best day of his life. He drew everything. He always had the answer. I bet after the tournament he found $100 on the street.
I would advise players to avoid blaming luck and being sour about a bad draw, as such outlooks will really hold you back. Be objective about your play and don't blame luck. I've lost more games of Magic than most people have played in totality. That's a fun and also sobering thought. I've spent more time getting the socks knocked off of me and yelling, "You've gotta be kidding me," than most Magic players have spent playing the game, period. If you think you're gonna be the ultimate MTG player by playing once a week and attending 1 or 2 big tournaments each year, it's just numbers and proportions, really. When you're already a decent enough player, the more you play, the more you will win. And the more you will lose too, most probably. And that's okay. It's very difficult to win a lot of tournaments if you don't play a lot of tournaments. Most pro players had to grind for years at PTQs and such to finally go to a Pro Tour or Mythic Championship. And then, a lot of them also had to grind all over again at the highest level of competition before reaching top 8s, let alone becoming champions. So, if you are determined to become a better player, a great one even, there are no shortcuts. You will have to grind. Not being open to playing the best deck. Not playing Magic with the intention to improve. You need to be conscious of what you play and how you play so you can improve. So, I've mentioned this before. If you want to play to have fun and you do, then that's excellent. Never let anyone give you shit because of that. If you want to become a great player and win a lot, then janky meme decks are not going to get you really far. Look, I know it's possible. You can grab a meme deck, and if you're skilled enough and get lucky, you can win a lot of small or even medium tournaments. I used to do it all the time with my beloved Pack Rat deck in Modern. But when was the last time you saw Bear Tribal win a big Modern event? When was the last time you saw a meal deck take down the Mythic Championship? If you want to achieve greatness at a competitive level, you gotta play the best decks out there. And last but not least, the reason great players are, well, great players, and therefore constantly produce winning records. They always have a plan. They always visualize the game before actually playing it, and they always play to win. You're only gonna get so far if you play to survive or if you play to see if you can get lucky out of nowhere. You must play to win. Do not look at a game as a series of turns. Look at a game as a whole that happens to have turns in it. What is your plan? What is your opponent's plan? How do you want to win? How does he want to win? Consider those overall questions and determine how it impacts your plays. And those are the 8 winning habits of great MTG players. If you like this video and you would like to see more content like this, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video, and share our content with other fellow Slivers across the multiverse. That's the best way in which you can support the Hive. Do you believe there are other winning habits that the greatest players of all time have? Leave a comment below. In the meantime, take care, and we'll gather again on the next video.